Good afternoon, everybody. This is Alan from Beekeeper Tarot with an itchy nose. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you once again for liking the videos and watching the videos and the comments that people make. I do appreciate it. So it's all valued and appreciated, guys. So yeah, I just wanted to, before I start reading, and also YouTube entertainment only, before I start reading, I just want to just speak about something local. So for those of you who probably aren't aware, we've got a cyclone heading to Queensland. So Queensland is the state north of New South Wales. So New South Wales is where Sydney is. And the cyclone is heading towards Brisbane, which is the capital of Queensland. And so it's on the coast and it's in the lower part of Queensland. And they're expecting the cyclone to impact somewhere in the Brisbane area, possibly Thursday or Friday, possibly as a Cat 1 or a Cat 2. So I think, believe right now, currently in Brisbane, the weather is okay, but that's all going to change very shortly. So to anyone that's watching from up north, please be safe and listen to the Bureau of Meteorology. Just get everything ready. And if you need to get out, right? Just don't muck around with it. Just go. Um, you're Queenslanders. You know how to deal with cyclones. You're Queenslanders, right? I fully get that, but I just want you to know that I'm thinking of you, and I'm sure all the Australians are thinking of you right now. And yeah, so just take care, and hopefully it's not going to be as bad as what it could be. So yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to say that, and like I said, keep in touch with the Bureau of Meteorology. Um, have your updates. Just get everything ready. So um, just follow local advice, yeah, and just please stay safe, yeah, stay safe. All right. It's also been very heartening as an Australian that our Prime Minister has actually stood up and supported Ukraine and is even open to the idea of keeping assisting with a peace, assisting by sending troops for a peace force. So that's a change in policy for us. I mean, we've always supported Ukraine, but it seems to be that our Prime Minister, is wanting to be a part of the Coalition of the Willing, which is the name of the coalition that was formed in Europe to support President Zelensky. And it looks like, from what I can gather, Donald Trump is probably feeling a bit out in the cold, and I've even heard that he's considering cutting off military aid. Um, who knows what he's going to do? Apparently, the tariffs are going to be starting tonight. That's the 25% from Canada and from Mexico. And I'm not sure about the 25% of aluminium and steel. I'm not sure when that's going to kick in, if or when. So apparently the stock market's already taken a bashing. So way to go, Donald Trump, the stable genius that he is. As I said, YouTube entertainment only. So yeah, so I just wanted to have a look at that. Sorry, I wanted to have a look at how everything's going to be going for Zelensky with regards to the coalition of the willing, which is the Europeans backing him up. Because clearly we cannot depend on the government of the US anymore. We just have to, yeah, whatever. We need to move forward as one voice and support Ukraine. All right, come on down, guys. So I believe that the coalition of the willing, they are wanting to promote a peace deal or organizing a peace deal, which has been without the engagement with the United States. Surprise, surprise. So I don't know how that's going to go, but I just want to see just quickly, well, not quickly, but I just want to have a look at how successful will this European based coalition of the willing to help President Zelensky without the US. Canada was there. US, no. Well, actually, they weren't even. Donald Trump and JD Vance weren't even invited. So why would you invite them? Why would you want to do that? All right. So coalition of the willing. How's this going to end up? What's the vibe about that with helping President Zelensky? European-based coalition of the willing to help President Zelensky. Oops. Okay, with a fortune. All right, guys, let's come on up. The first card that I pulled out, everybody, was the Knight of Swords, and I'm using the Astro Matrix Tarot as well, guys. Yeah, I think this is essentially what's on people's mind. This is the war, right? These are the young people being sacrificed and dying on both sides, because I'm sure that the average Russian doesn't want to be a part of this either. But then again, they're dealing with propaganda and state TV and everything else. But it's almost like they want to get rid of this to have a time of peace. Like if you look at the Six of Cups, it is like the card of nostalgia in tarot. But you see how these are just people, two little kids, just kind of in the field and green, and it's all happy and nice and quiet, and there's peace and there's no war. Um, yeah, it's just a very harmonious picture, and I think essentially that's what the basis of what's happening on with the I'll just call them the coalition of the willing, the European based efforts to help end this horrible war in Ukraine. And I think now with the Queen of Cups, I think it certainly is a very emotional issue for everybody concerned. And I certainly feel like even for this community, like we're all feeling it and looking at other tarot readers and comments and things like that. Everybody is, sorry about that. Everybody is feeling it is a very, very emotional issue. But generally speaking, if you go to the original RWS deck of the tarot, in that deck, the Queen of Cups is the only card is the only card in the suit of cups where the cup is actually closed. In this deck, it's open, and I think what's happened now is like the lid's off the can now. You know what I mean? Pardon me, guys, my throat's funny right now. The lid is open, and I think really what happened in the USA with the president and this vice president of the United States in their despicable way that they treated Zelensky. And even now, actually, just give me a second while I just do a leaner here and digress. I heard Trump was even saying this morning that he wants Zelensky to be more grateful. I mean, well, how much more grateful can he be? He's already said repeatedly that, thanking the US. He said it multiple times. And he's made comments since that public debacle where the president and the vice president made absolute um, idiots out of themselves. Probably the nicest way I can put it. Zelensky has still actually posted comments to say that he appreciates what the US has done. I mean, what else is he supposed to do? Do you want him to grovel to you and shalom and I mean, really? Anyway, so it is a very emotional issue, is what I'm trying to say. And but I think also as well, there's going to be a balance between with the King of Swords. And I'm wondering, pardon me once again, and I think in line of this coalition of the willing, yes, it is very much coming from an emotional level to take things back to how it was. But, they're going to need to make some big decisions. And I'm wondering if that big decision will be because the United States government, not the United States people, but the United States government, and there is a difference, there's a huge difference. I'm wondering if the United States government just might choose not to become a part of it because it wasn't their idea, or, maybe they might just be collectively having a bit of a sulk because, they weren't invited to the conference, to the gathering. Well, why would you be invited? You've already said you've already made it perfectly obvious to the world who your alliances are towards. Anyway, but with this knight, with this King of Swords, I think there's going to have to be very, very tough decisions that are going to have to be made. Um, Maybe they might even have to pursue things legally, like through international courts and things like that, to justify, or not justify, but to try and put pressure on that as well. But it's going to be a mixture of absolute full on emotion and absolute thinking with the mind and being quite logical about it. I think that's the approach it's going to have. And I think if they can get that balance right, hopefully with the wheel of fortune, things will change for the better for President Zelensky and the Ukrainian people who have just suffered now for 3 years on in a attack that was unprovoked and just unnecessary because of the greed of a certain dictator. So that's what I think. So I think that we're off to a good start. I think with this, and hopefully things will just keep going along. And yeah, I'm just going to see what will the US government do with this. 2 seconds. So based on the current energies, what will the US administration do? Will the US administration contribute to this European-based support for Zelensky? What is the I mean, everything is so fluxing right now. So what will the Trump administration do regarding this alliance of the coalition if they're willing to help Zelensky? What will be the US government response? What will be the US government's response? Mm, this. Okay. Wow. Okay, that's pretty clear. What's really interesting about this reading is the first card I got on the very top, the signifier is the Three of Swords. Underneath it is the Star. In other words, if if this card here is my card for the narcissist, and when you wonder who that is, he's not on top. The Three of Swords is on top. I think I think he was not expecting this coalition of the willing. I think that's what it is, and he's hating it. He's actually feeling some kind of mental anguish about this because he's not on top. He's underneath it. He's what's the word? Subordinate to it, maybe, or not being included in it. It's just killing him. It's piercing his ego, piercing the way that he thinks. There's going to be a lot of mouthing off, a lot of tweets, a lot of messages coming forth on his social media platforms and statements and blah blah blah. They're going to be fast. They're going to be immature, and they're going to be statements that haven't been thought out very thoroughly. He's absolutely going to try to sabotage it. He's going to do everything he can. I think his words or whatever he comes out with will be to try to destroy this, because he's batting for another side, not for freedom. He wants to destroy that. There's going to be a sense of judgment with regards to that. But I think that justice will prevail. I think there will be a balancing out of the powers with the coalition of the willing to help Ukraine and to help President Zelensky, because what's happening is that the emperor is out on the cold. He's the hermit. He's out on his own now, and he doesn't know how to deal with it. That just being isolated, not being on top, that's enough to do his head in. As the rest of the country, as the rest of the world gets to work, does what we can to rebuild and to help Ukraine, using the resources that we have and using what we have, pulling things together. This is what I think the coalition of the willing, the European Council to help Vladimir Zelensky and the Ukrainian people. It's almost like they're going to do magic. Magic's a wonderful word, but I think they're going to be able to pull things together. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I think like there will be this period where 47 is just going to go ballistic and crazy and just all his verbiage, right? We know that. But I think ultimately with the magician, wherever the card is, where are you, magician? I think ultimately, with or without the US, and I'm tending to think it's not going. Tend to think that the US government is not going to be a part of this at all. And I think that could be the decision that got cards everywhere. I think this could be the decision that came on the previous reading with the King of Swords. I think that's going to be the decision. Do we go with or without the US's government's help? I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to go ahead without the US government's help. I think that's going to be futile because whatever 47 tries to throw at it, the truth is he's out in the cold. He's on his own, isolated himself on the world stage alone. No longer the emperor. Well, he is the emperor of the US, but not of this. And wherever this magician card is, here it is. And I think with the magician card, I think they're going to be able to do magic and pull all the resources together and get this going. So I'm hopeful that this can be the beginning of something good for Ukraine. And I do think that if there's anything good that can come out of what happened to Zelensky in the White House, if there's anything that can happen from that, I think it's made a sense of urgency that the world has to get on board and act now. And I really need to state this because I just want people to understand that when I'm criticizing America, I'm talking about the government, I'm talking about your president, and I'm talking about your vice president. And once again, YouTube entertainment only. I'm not, for 1 second, I'm not criticizing anybody in the USA. I do believe in time people will eventually wake up. But for me, this was a real wake-up call for the world when I saw Trump and Vance so blatantly support Putin's agenda. That was shocking for me. So we just have to we just have to realize that there is a change now in world order, and America was like the leader of the free world. I don't think so anymore. I think you can't look at it like that because the current administration has demonstrated that they're not interested in democracy. They're interested in like the autocrats. I think that's where we're heading. So it's a dangerous place for the US. But anyway, so I do think that, and I'm hoping that uh, the coalition of the willing will pull something together and use their resources and get this going to help Ukraine. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Okay, bye for now. Bye.